The new trailer for Shang-Chi has just been released, and it's safe to say that anyone who had doubts about Simu Liu's upcoming MCU outing are now second-guessing their uncertainty. Among the hints at Shang-Chi's backstory, a first look at the MCU iteration of the Ten Rings, and the worldwide action set pieces, we also saw some familiar faces who we haven't seen in the MCU in years. So who are some of these returning fan favorites, and where have they been all of this time? Let's delve into that today, specifically one character. In the closing seconds of the trailer, we see what seems to be a cage match between a sorcerer of Kamar-Taj, who appears to be Wong, and none other than the Abomination himself, Emil Blonsky. Often seen as the black sheep of the MCU family, 2008's The Incredible Hulk sports a measly 67% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 6.7 on IMDb. The second entry in the MCU is often forgotten by fans for leaving plot threads unresolved, and overall a lack of cohesion, and most evidently the recasting of Edward Norton's Bruce Banner in favor of Mark Ruffalo. The antagonist of The Incredible Hulk was British Special Forces operative Emil Blonsky, who worked alongside General Thunderbolt Ross to hunt down and subdue the Green Goliath. While General Ross has seen a resurgence in the MCU, beginning all the way back as Captain America Civil War in 2016, Blonsky has yet to reappear. Until today. Back in 2008, General Ross arranged for Blonsky to receive an experimental dose of the newly reconstructed Super Soldier Serum, the same serum responsible for the creation of Steve Rogers' Captain America, though they would soon discover that the serum proved faulty. Shortly thereafter, Blonsky, in a greedy power grab, demanded that Samuel Stearns combine the serum with the blood of Bruce Banner in order to give him the power necessary to surpass the Hulk in strength. This resulted in the ungodly Abomination that Blonsky transformed into. So where has he been for all of this time? And what is finally drawing him back into the limelight? Though he hasn't been seen for over a decade now, his reemergence has actually been in the works for years. During the early planning phases of Avengers Age of Ultron, the Abomination was considered for a return, and details about where he had been and what he had been up to at that point had been explored. If these details are still canon, then the official explanation is that the Abomination was placed in a superhuman holding facility in Barrow, Alaska known as the Vault. Kevin Feige has also confirmed that the Abomination will be returning for the upcoming She-Hulk series, as well as confirmed that Tim Roth would in fact return to reprise the role. Tim Roth was one of the highlights of 2008's The Incredible Hulk film, receiving generally good reception from critics and fans alike, and so it seems only natural to have him return. With the rise of the She-Hulk series, the return of the Abomination, and Bruce Banner being one of the only surviving Earthbound Avengers, it seems likely that the MCU is set to explore the Hulk's miniverse of associated characters, including other Gamma beings such as Doc Samson and the Leader, both of whom also made their debuts in The Incredible Hulk. This potentially leaves the door open for their returns in some capacity as well, later down the line of course. Needless to say, Abomination has been up to quite a lot in his time since The Incredible Hulk, being imprisoned and somehow either escaping or being let loose. It's difficult to say how long he's been free, but some have theorized he was able to escape during the carnage caused by the snap. One theory explains that once half of the security personnel disappeared, the prison was sent into chaos and disarray, as the remaining security tried to lock the facility down, allowing Blonsky the opportunity to mount an escape. The Abomination in the comics is unable to transform back into human form, and if the MCU follows the same logic, he would constantly be in the heightened state of extreme strength, able to overpower virtually any human resistance that the remaining guards could throw at him. There is another theory that states higher-ups in the American government actually willingly freed Blonsky. We know that in the early days of the Avengers Initiative, Blonsky was originally considered for a spot on the team. There was extensive debate within S.H.I.E.L.D. and the United States government about whether or not to allow Blonsky membership into the Avengers, claiming he was in a more sound state of mind than the Hulk and could be more easily controlled. This would include covering up the true story of his conflict with the Hulk in Harlem at the end of the Incredible Hulk movie, stating that he was defending himself from the Hulk and was in fact the hero of that movie's third act. Due to the combined resistance of General Ross, Jasper Sitwell, Nick Fury, and Tony Stark, however, this idea was eventually swept aside, and the Abomination was sent to the vault in Alaska with the proposal seemingly forgotten. If this idea was already once in motion, and the snap saw not only the decimation of half of all heroes on Earth, but an increased level of disarray and conflict among the survivors, it seems plausible that certain bureaucrats in the government would consider reopening this idea. If this idea was reproposed under this new set of drastic circumstances, it could be possible that the Abomination was intentionally set free in order to help maintain the chaos, as sort of a stand-in hero. We know that the United States government in the MCU is not shy about using former antagonists with shady motives to do their dirty work in the shadows. At the end of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the government, instead of arresting and prosecuting John Walkers, gave him a new uniform and new identity as US agent. It has been implied that the US agent will be used to reform the government's more dubious work in secrecy, going to the lengths that a public hero like Captain America cannot. Therefore, it's not out of the question that they may do something like this again with Blonsky. How the Abomination ended up in what appears to be an underground cage match in Shang-Chi, however, remains to be seen. It's clear though that he somehow ended up here and that it is important, and that he will likely be reappearing in the She-Hulk series. So this will not be the end of the Abomination as we know him, also potentially showing up later down the line in a Thunderbolt series, where Thaddeus Ross, Thunderbolt himself, may set up a special team himself. But anyway, my friends, what do you think of these theories, and what do you find more likely? And are you excited to see the Abomination return in Shang-Chi and beyond? If you enjoyed this video and could find the time to leave a like, that would help the channel out a great deal. As always, my friends, hit that subscribe button to assemble and join our team, and have a great